was an old lady
who swallowed a fly.
I don't know why
She swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die.
Can I play?
Sure.
It was an old lady
Who swallowed a cow.
I don't know how
She swallowed a cow.
She swallowed a cow.
to catch the goat.
She swallowed the
I hate
goat.
that song. Oh, it's so stupid. It's got to be the worst example of biological pest control ever.
What?
A cow to catch a goat. I mean, what? What about the stomach acid? How's a cow gonna eat a goat? And what about parasites, or even help us, parasitoids?
What's a parasitoid?
Well, why don't you go and find out, Chelsea?
I not so much work with insects like this. I work more with these smaller insects. The ones that are, cause problems on our fruits and crops and so
Like the painted apple moth?
yeah, things like that. There are insects out there that are bad. They're bad because they happen to live on things that we eat. One of the things that I look at are insects or ways of controlling them, and more often than not it's controlling them with good insects.
Yeah.
There can be all sorts of natural enemies of these bad insects.
Isn't there a chance that the good insects that you introduce will become a pest? when you introduce them?
Yeah, that's you. You say it right, because in the past that has tended to happen. You'd bring something in, like a tiny wasp that you'd think is to control something, and it ends off going off and eating something else.
Yeah.
And particularly when it comes to protecting the insects that are already here, like native insects, and it goes off and becomes itself a pest by eating these
Yeah.
native insects or things that it's not meant to be eating. And that's where we start having real problems.
So what do you do to avoid that?
There's a body called Irma, and they're there to regulate how we bring in a good insect and make sure it's going to do its job on the bad insect that we want it to control.
So it sounds like it's better than insecticides or anything like that, but how exactly does it work?
Some natural enemies will take the shape and form of a parasite. But there's a special variation of a parasite, and it's called a parasitoid. But a parasitoid is a parasite, and usually referring to like a wasp, for example. These are parasitoids because they lay eggs inside the host. The egg turns into a larva, or lots of larvae, and they go around feeding inside, and then invariably the host dies, which makes the difference between a parasite and a parasitoid
So they
usually.
eat them from the inside
That's
out?
right, yeah, just like aliens. They come emerging out, and off they fly and do the same thing to another bad insect.
So a parasite is an insect that lives off a host but doesn't kill it. And a parasitoid is one that lives off it and kills it.
Yeah, exactly, that's exactly it.
Is there a chance they could lay their eggs in us and they'll eat us from the inside out?
Every chance possible. It's absolutely possible.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have nightmares.
Well, thankfully that they've kind of, in the world of evolution, or you know how things have all come together and have their purpose in life. Well, the purpose in life of these and many of these parasitoids and things are to be very specific. They will just go to one particular type of food. Or prey, yeah. So that counts you guys out. You're all right.
Is there any
sleep okay
insects out
tonight.
there that are gonna lay eggs in me?
Well, yeah, there are, but
not go
yeah,
in.
let's not go there.
It's safe, Barnaby. What the heck is that awful smell?
It's my deodorant. It's full of pheromones. It's gonna attract females.
Females of what species, you weirdo?
Humans. I thought pheromones were what insects use to attract each other. Sometimes, yes, but humans also use them. Do you really think that pheromones are what humans use to attract each other? Yep. It's pheromones. I think there may be a bit more to it than that, Barnaby.
This is a parasitoid that lays an egg on the outside of a giant spider, like a tarantula. This one here, the other end of the scale, it's minute, isn't it?
Yeah,
You can hardly see it.
I didn't even realise it was there.
Yeah, so it's like a speck of dust, but that's a tiny little wasp which does such a good job in controlling pest insects. That there is a green looper caterpillar that has had One of those tiny parasitoids lay its egg inside, and the eggs developed 2,000 or 3,000 times into a whole lot of clones. And those clones are in there and they've eaten the whole caterpillars. The caterpillar's a mummy, and that's the 1,000 or so parasitoids that have lived inside
gross.
That is actually disgusting.
So this is one of the ways in which we managed to control, in this case, a caterpillar that's a pest. But a method also that's starting to become very popular now is using pheromones.
Well, what are pheromones though?
Typically there are female insects that will release a particular smell, and we call that smell a pheromone. And it's an attractant basically for male insects to come in, and when they let it go, the males go, I can smell a female. And they're in and they come in. So we identify what the compounds are and make our own pheromones that are exactly the same smell.
Do we have pheromones?
We certainly do. We all have body odours.
Oh dear. That doesn't sound quite as
And
cool.
we use deodorants and antiperspirants to try and block those out. But we certainly do, yeah. But the insects use them to the extreme, particularly to attract males.
We're off to attract some male moths.
Okay, so this is the base platform upon which we've got a very sticky surface. Do you want to try that?
Oh my goodness,
pretty
it's
sticky, isn't it?
surprisingly sticky.
So this is a sticky trap, and in the middle we've got this little cap. Now that cap is filled with a synthetic pheromone which is the natural smell of, in this example, a codling moth, and a codling moth is a pest.
Cool, so can we do it?
Yeah. So with the wind, it gets the smell of the pheromone out, and anything downwind will smell that pheromone that's a codling moth or a male codling moth and come in thinking that he's going to go and see a female. Well, I reckon, for monitoring something like this, let's leave it a week.
Okay.
There we are.
Can we check it? Can we check it?
Yeah, go on, let's see what it caught.
Whoa! Whoa!
Whoa!
Look at that, isn't it?
Yes!
Isn't it amazing?
That was really quick. I thought you said it took a week. Did you swap it?
Might have.
You're stupid
That's
now.
not very scientific.
I've been researching these pheromones, which you claim come from your deodorant.
Yep.
And turns out pheromones are chemicals released as signals to others of the same species. But scientists reckon humans have lost the organ required to detect them. Instead, we use vision and language to communicate, not pheromones.
I make front seat, guys.
What?
Yeah, I got here first. I've been waiting for ages.
Well, I
so-
said shotgun.
Hello,
It smells.
Barnaby. What are you wearing?
Yeah, you smell
Oh,
like.
I might sit in the back, Polly. You can take the front.
Oh, look, I'm immune to it now.
Oh, lucky you.
Sean, this looks exciting. What is it?
Well, that's a ball of dung.
Cool.
It's actually a ball of dung from dung beetles, and there's a tray of beetles here that have that are specialist rollers off balls of dung.
So they rolled it up.
Yeah.
These are so beautiful.
Yeah, they're pretty nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they're not even creepy. Wow.
Right. Have a look underneath that.
Wow.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now that's a jewel beetle, and it's a jewel beetle because it looks like jewellery,
Yeah.
and in fact lots of early societies used parts of these jewel beetles in their ornaments, like in necklaces and earrings and all sorts of bits and pieces in their clothing because they were just beautiful.
Tell me about this one. What does that do?
Well, it's quite amazing, really. It's larva, or it's grub, lives in wood. There's lots of people in different parts of the world that just love eating the grubs. You've heard of hoo-hoo grubs?
Yeah.
And witchetty grubs? You know, the Aborigines in Australia?
Yeah.
Well, they're all grubs from these things, and people just love to eat them. And there's another part of the world where they grab these things, these adults, and they rip the legs off, and they pull them off, and they get... and they suck all the juices and the guts out of the middle of that, and it's beautiful protein.
They do it.
Well, yeah, they eat it because the people there find it as a fantastic food source. When there's not much other protein and meat and stuff around, they'll resort to these insects. So can you imagine eating that?
I'm sure that I could if I tried. I really don't want
If you were
to.
starving, maybe.
I know.
Did you guys find out about parasitoids?
Oh yes, I did. Okay, they're different from parasites because parasites live off the host, but they don't necessarily kill it. And parasitoids live off a host but end up killing it.
It was so cool.
So it's like we've said, biological control.
Yeah, they use it instead of like pesticide.
But we've got some footage if you want to see it of parasitoid going. "Rrr."
Okay, yeah.
Okay, it's so cool. Okay, there's the parasitoid, right? And they have this thing called an ovipositor, and they stab it into the host, and ow!
There it goes.
See, and it gets the egg in, and the eggs are eventually gonna eat them from the inside out. Well, when they hatch.
There was an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die.
Too right.